And one of the things was that I was not happy. And I started looking around and thinking, well, why aren't I happy? What is it that's making me unhappy? And then shifted to, okay, well, actually one of my key values is happiness. One of the key things I'm looking for in life is happiness. So I started asking that question, is this going to make me happy? If I do this, is this going to make me happy or unhappy? And through that, life changed. I ended up realizing what it was about work that wasn't making me happy, and also came to the conclusion that I probably wasn't going to be happy if I stuck there. So it took me a while to leave, but I did eventually leave. I'd already been doing some work with Marilla in the background with Global Woman, but we had men who had been coming around Global Woman. We had male speakers, we had men who bought tickets for events, but then we got a man who said, can I join? And we thought, that's a bit odd, but yeah, why not? Come on in. And he wasn't the first. So we started thinking, well, maybe we can do Global Man. And so in November 23, we launched Global Man in London. And one of the things that I realized is that one of the reasons I wasn't happy with work is I had been spending all my time and all my energy on business, on work. And work is great. It will quite happily take all your energy that you're willing to give it. And it will still want more. So guess what? All my energy had gone into that. Nothing had gone into myself, making sure I was doing things for me, making sure I was feeding my own happiness. A little bit had gone into my health. I hadn't given that up. But very little was going into my relationships, plural. Relationship with a now ex-wife, relationship with children, relationship with my wider family, relationship with friends, with colleagues. Yes, I put a bit of energy into wealth, but the vast majority was going into business. So one of the things we work on with men, because that is a very strong trait with men, we can put all our energy into business because we see our role as being a provider. And there's nothing wrong with providing, man or woman. What there is a problem with is if you allow that to define you, because very quickly everything else, all the things that should really define you, go by the wayside. So with Global Man, we help men succeed in business in the same way Morella's bringing women together to succeed in business and to network. So we bring men and women together at the events in London. There's power in that network. But when we go off and we do our own thing, one of the things we're focusing on is how we succeed in life as well as business. So making sure you're successful in business, but not at the cost of other areas of your life. Secondly, what we also do is look at how men and women come and work together. And the focus here is more on Global Man than Global Woman. So we're used to showing up in a world that was shaped by men over centuries. And we quite comfortably step into that and don't question it and don't see it as being a world that was shaped by men. But I'm sure all you know and can see that. So with Global Man, we also get men to step back and look at how should they really be showing up in a business world that was, yes, historically shaped by men, but now is a world that has both men and women in it. Getting them to understand what masculinity is. So we're not saying to men, stop being men. What we're saying to men is understand masculinity, both the desirable parts and the less desirable parts, and understand the impact those less desirable parts have, but also understand how those are commonly showing up in this world that was shaped over centuries. Understand femininity as well. Understand the power of feminine energy, the power of those feminine characteristics, and understand how you want, when you look at them, you go, yes, those are desirable. Understand how we need, as men, to create a space that allows those characteristics to show up, rather than demanding that women step into a masculine frame in order to step into a business world. So we put focus on that as well. Hopefully that chimes. Hopefully that resonates, because on Sunday we will be having Global Woman in London with Global Man. And for a section of that, we will have the men step away into our own little space and explore those topics. If that sounds like fun, if that sounds like it's desirable, then please, once we get Global Woman growing in Norwich, we would like to look at putting Global Man on that. And if you come down to Global Woman in London, there is already Global Man there, and you have a man that you think would like to be part of that, would be interested, please bring them along. And I'll leave it there, and I'll pass it back to Morella to finally wrap up. Now she's remembered that I was sitting at the back.